Fear not, Malayali friends. I have seen your comments. I have heard your cries. Jake, watch this crazy fucking thriller. Well, I did. I finally found a break in the horror release schedule and I managed to slip Kishkindha Kaandam into the gap. Now, I was supposed to see this movie at the cinemas at the start of November. I had my tickets and everything, but the Chaos Gods decided to keep the universe interesting and had me step on a rusty nail, which I then had to go to hospital to get surgically removed, and obviously didn't go to the fucking movie because I was in hospital. Here's the x-ray for people who, I know some people like seeing the x-rays, that sort of shit. But thanks to some VPN sneakiness, I have now been able to rectify that. I have now caught Dinjith Ayyathan's newest thriller. Everyone who told me to see this, do you want me to be a sad boy? Like, what? I mean, this movie is great. This is a great movie. It's a great mystery thriller. But when the credits rolled, I was so fucking sad. You monsters, you absolute monsters. I'm actually hoping a lot of Westerners see this one because it is perfect at illustrating what I love about Malayalam cinema. Because a lot of us pasty fuckers, and I can say that because I am one of them, tend to think that Indian cinema is all like sunshine and rainbows and upbeat music and dance sequences. And oh boy, is this not that. This is frankly, it's a mean little mystery. It's got really dark themes and it kept me guessing up until the final scene, right? Like, and I don't do spoilers. So I'm not going to, in this review, I'm not going to say anything that will spoil anything. But I will say there was a scene quite a fair way into the film that involved a wildlife picture. Those of you who've seen the movie will know what I'm talking about. And when that happened, I was so mad. Like, I was so mad because I thought that was going to be part of the explanation. And if the story had gone in that direction, I would be right here telling you not to watch this movie because I would have been furious. But it seems like the writer Bahul Ramesh just wanted to shitstorm me because that's not what happened. And the finale, I ended up really liking's not the right word. I didn't like the ending. It's a really good ending. The ending is a really good ending. Yeah, saying you like the ending is probably a bit weird in this movie, but it's a really good ending. This movie kept me guessing the entire way through. Kishkindha Kaandam follows a family that lives in a wildlife abundant reserve forest. For all you Aussies out there, a reserve forest is kind of like a national park for us. The main couple, AJ and Aparna, have recently been married, and after the wedding, Aparna moves into AJ's family home with AJ's ex-military father, whose name is Apu Pilla. Upon arriving, however, Aparna sort of notices that there's something weird going on with her new father-in-law. He seems to be obsessed with a service pistol that he lost 2 years ago, to the point where he has like crazy mood swings about it and all these like quite emotional outbursts. Like, something's going on with him. And on top of that, AJ is still sort of emotionally dealing with the loss of his previous wife due to illness. And as if that wasn't enough, his young son Chachu, who inexplicably went missing 3 years ago. Now, these events, as we watch on in this movie, these events like tangle, untangle, retangle, over and over and over again until you find out what really is going on. And when you find out what's really going on, that's sort of where the magic of this movie is, right? So if you like thrillers and mystery movies where there seems to be like, you're like, why is everyone doing this? This doesn't make any sense. And then in the final scene, it puts it all together. This is one of those. So if you couldn't tell, I liked this movie quite a bit. There were stages where I thought, no, this film's gotten silly. But every time I did that, something happened and another piece of the puzzle was revealed, and it really, like, I basically realized that I'd been faked out yet again, and it's pretty damn masterful. Asif Ali, who is a striking looking man, by the way, he's a beautiful man. He's so great as the grieving RJ. You can see there's multiple scenes where you can see he's just barely holding it together. He's only a slight breeze away from losing it completely. You really feel like it's a rope that he's trying to like reel in. Aparna Balamurali, I'm sorry, I'm trying real hard. Is fantastic. Like she is definitely the audience stand-in for this one, because she allows us to get our little like sleuth hat and notebook out and try to solve the mystery alongside her, like, because she's trying to do it on the down low, so you're sort of like, oh, don't get caught, you know. There's a lot of tension just in that. There are parts of this movie where she seems like the only sane one as well, and for those parts I sort of wanted to stand up and be like, all right, what the fuck is going on? Well, what does this mean? What does that mean? You know, like, you just want to go, please solve it so I can put me out of my mystery misery. But that's exactly the feeling you want in a mystery film, right? So she absolutely nails that. That being said, the star for me, and I'm going to butcher this, I'm sorry, I'm trying really hard, is Vijayaraghavan as Apu, the strange like father-in-law. He is played as like, he's a man with laser-like focus. He's so obsessed with his routines and what he is doing. At no point in the film do you feel like he is just doing something for the sake of it. Even though you don't understand what he is doing or why he is doing the things he's doing, you know that there is some purpose to it. And that takes really immense skill as an actor. And I'm sure it takes really good direction from Ayyathan. But yeah, he was brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. The writing of the movie is really good, I said it before, but to have a story with so many moving pieces that have to line up is really difficult to pull off, and Bahul Ramesh did it superbly. Every piece seems like pretty much a disconnected fragment of a story at the start, but they managed to come together in the end pretty bloody flawlessly. So yeah, kudos to the writing. The cinematography is amazing, which is sort of what I've come to expect from Malayalam cinema now, to be honest. The forest looks so lush and the wildlife shots are great. It almost feels like you're watching a nature doco. One of the things that impressed me heaps with this film, though, is there is almost no major musical sequences, right? I think in almost every Indian film I have watched so far, even in horrors like Tumbad or Brahma Yugam, they usually decide to stick in at least one section of like really heavy song and almost like a montage in there, almost because they feel like they have to, almost like they have to meet audience expectations or even to sell streams on Spotify or something. I don't know why, but most Indian cinema I've seen has at least one of those scenes, right, where it's just like the music swells and it's almost like a music video. This did not do that. This movie did not do that, which is just such a it's such a bold and brilliant choice, because the vibe of this movie is so weird and dark that I think that if they had done that, it would have taken away from the tension and the sort of uncomfortable uncertainty that you get in this film. This film makes you feel uncomfortable because you're like, I don't know what's going on, none of this makes sense, and they just let you sit in it. Whereas if they'd put something that you're expecting, like a musical number, from a film of this style, it would have taken that away and made it a lesser film. So that was bravo, brilliant fucking choice to do that. I only really had two minor issues with this movie. The first one is that there is like a fight/wrestling scene that looked pretty awkward, but then again, I think I've said that for almost every Malayalam film I have reviewed. Fight scenes are not the strong suit, right? You watch these for the character development, and given that one of the actors involved in the sort of wrestle fight scene is 70, that's fine. I'm not really that fazed by it. The bigger issue, however, is that about 2/3 of the way through the film, there is this gigantic exposition dump that seems out of place. Like, the mystery is unfolding and you're getting these little pieces of information all the way through this movie, and then a doctor-like character just says, oh, by the way, here's what's happening, and explains a lot of things to you in a short amount of time. Like, explains to you why a character's doing certain things, what he's doing, like what the character's doing, why he's doing them, with flashbacks and stuff. And it seemed a little out of place in such a well-written movie. Like, up until that point of the movie, we had sort of been trusted to, the audience had been trusted to figure things out, and we were allowed to sort of question why people were doing things, and they didn't answer too much because they were like, no, we're happy to let you just sort of dangle and be uncomfortable not knowing why anything's happening. And then all of a sudden, a heap of questions get answered in like a 2-minute scene. And maybe they did that to condense the runtime, because this is a 2 hour and 15-minute film, which is quite short for lots of Malayalam films I've watched. And it did seem like an odd choice, because the writing had been so good up until that point, and they let us sort of fumble over things and piece things out. And then all of a sudden they're like, okay, here's the answer to all these questions. But that being said, if you like mystery thrillers, and especially if you like Indian cinema, this is one of the deeper, darker ones I have managed to get my hands on, right? Like, this is really fucking dark. I think I liked it more than Rorschach, which is no mean call, because you guys know how much I fucking love Mammootty. This is a really good, dark mystery thriller. I recommend watching this if you love mystery films. Of course, I'm going to say that. This is one of the better mystery films. Like, it's really fucking good. If you hate it when you can pick the ending of a film before it's over, I can promise you 99% of the people that are watching this film won't see the end coming. I sure as shit didn't. Not that I'm a good sleuther or anything, but, you know, like, this is a fucking wild movie. If you don't mind a dark ending, as long as it wraps everything up, this is a great movie for that. I do not recommend watching this if you hate having long stretches of film where you get heaps of questions and no answers. Like, if you need answers sort of fed to you throughout the film quite frequently, this is not the film for you. This lets you hang in the air for like most of it, and then goes, and this is what's actually happening, which I like, but I know some people struggle with. If you want an upbeat piece of Indian cinema with lots of like great music and dancing, that's a really fun time, this ain't it, right? This is not the film for that. Go watch Avasham if you want that. It's a fucking banger, but this is not the film for this. This is a real dark movie. If violence or the threat of violence against children is too much for you, fair, I get it. I'm a dad, but be warned, that is one of the main themes of this movie, so just know that going in, this might not be the one for you. If you like this movie and want more in this vein, I highly recommend the Christopher Nolan film Memento. I think most people who really like thrillers and mystery have probably seen this one, but maybe, like, this is maybe for my younger subscribers that it might slip past them, because it came out in 2000. It's one of the best psychological thriller mystery films ever of all time, right? Like, it's about an insurance investigator played by Guy Pearce who has amnesia. He is hunting the person who killed his wife, and because of his memory loss, he has to use like notes, clues he's left for himself with no context, and even tattoos to sort of piece together what's going on daily. It's dark as hell. It's such a dark fucking movie. It's so twisty and weird. But it would make a great double feature with Kishkindha. It's so fucking good. If you like sort of true crime mystery thrillers, another one that has really, really dark themes that I highly, highly recommend is the French language film Red Rooms. It's this amazing thriller about a woman who is obsessed with a high profile court case about a serial killer. Like Kishkindha, you spend most of the movie trying to work out, like, what the fuck is this person doing? Why are they doing it? And you don't get any answers until, like, 80-90% of the movie, right? Like, it keeps you hanging and it makes you uncomfortable, because every time she does something, you're like, why are you doing this? You know, like, it's really weird. It's such a good movie. I don't know if it's available for streaming everywhere, but if you can get your hands on it, definitely see it. Keep an eye out for it. It was one of my favorite films of last year, and like this movie, the ending fucking floored me. So I highly recommend Red Rooms if you can get your hands on it. It's a great movie. But that's it. Let me know if you've seen this movie. Did you see the ending coming? What did you think of the ending? I mean, that's what every mystery movie... whenever I watch a mystery movie, I want to go to my friends like, did you watch this? Okay, what did you think of the ending? Like, did you see it coming? Let me know. Let me know what you think. I know a lot of people asked me to cover this one. I'm not sure what... I think my next Malayalam watch will probably either be Chiruli or Bougainvillea, because I've heard they're both pretty fucking good. It's just... the problem is getting your bloody hands on them at the moment. But I might see what I can dig up with my VPN, because I've heard they're good. As always, thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, all that YouTube jazz. You know the deal. And I hope to see you next week for another review where I'm going to review The Wolfman. Peace.